Counsel. Mr. Letter, I know you will be delighted to learn that we have time for additional questioning. So I think I'll begin with myself, and then we'll go through in order and just see how far we get. One thing that hasn't come up is the fact that we're dealing here with 3 separate committees, and we're concerned, as you've recognized, with the potential for harassment. And how does that play in? I mean, at what point does the number of committees investigating the president's personal papers become a factor in an analysis of the issue of harassment?
Your Honor, I am very pleased there's more time for questions. But, Your Honor, it would seem to me that there are situations, again, you'd have to look to, Clinton versus Jones. When does it reach a particular stage? We're nowhere near that here. And in fact, the subpoena by the Intelligence Committee matches the subpoena from the Financial Services Committee to Deutsche Bank because specifically intelligence did not want to cause too much of a burden to the subpoena.
What about, as you know, very shortly in the second case, we're going to talk about subpoenas from district attorneys. How does that factor in? I mean, should those be counted in the balance in terms of when congressional subpoenas become harassment?
Definitely not, Your Honor. Since we had nothing to do with such the subpoena advance, we had no contact with the city of New York before that subpoena was issued, and so I don't know how that would tell us anything about what the House of Representatives.
What about the Senate? I suppose they can issue subpoenas too, can't they?
Of course, Your Honor. Yes.
So how do you balance that? You've got, in this case, 3 different House committees seeking subpoenas. You've got the district attorney in New York. Depending upon party composition of different bodies in the future, you might have the Senate joining in. How do you measure harassment in a case like that?
Your Honor, I think what you would do is if these were subpoenas from the House and the Senate, a massive number of them going to the White House, then there certainly would be, at a certain point, where it would affect the ability of the White House and the President to function. There's no doubt about that. But these subpoenas are to 3 private businesses involving...
Thank you. Justice Thomas, any further questioning?
Yes, I'd like to follow up on that, Chief Justice. Mr. Letter, at some point, there's a straw that breaks the camel's back. And it seems as though you're saying that we should look at these in isolation as opposed to in the aggregate. Why wouldn't we look at all of them and look at the full effect and whether at some point it debilitates the president?